Wonderful. So will I only be talking about one child, or I can also go general? Because I do have two
the other children are not that great. Hi, I'm Kitt Nyang'aya. This is Kendi Nyang'aya.
Hi.
Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, please don't forget to like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and just interact with us. Comment, share, everything. This is Mom and Me segment, I think 10.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Amazing.
I know.
Today, we would like to talk to new moms about mom's experience bringing me up. And she's just going to share stories about my life, about my childhood. Right?
Okay.
Let's get into the video.
Wonderful. All right, so
Start at the beginning.
I'll start at the beginning.
Did you want me? Like, did you try to have me?
No, my children are generally oops babies. Oops, I'm pregnant. Yeah, but I really wanted you.
Yeah.
Yes. So it was one of the greatest excitements of that time of my life. I was just 25.
Yeah.
Yes, when I was when I went for the test and I discovered I was pregnant, I was just so excited. I couldn't wait to tell your dad.
How did you tell him?
I told him I'm pregnant.
That's it?
Yes.
You just walked up to him and said, I'm pregnant?
Yes. And we danced. We were so happy. And I was a young teacher then, and I just was so thrilled because I'd been feeling a little sick, went to the doctor and had the test, and they said I was pregnant, and I ran back. I called your dad. Actually, I called him because I was in a different school from him. He was at Nyabondo High School at that time, and I was at Nyabisawa Girls. And I called him and I told him what had been happening because he had known I was sick. And you know, I mean, really, it was a dance over the phone. And I ran over to the school principal at Nyabisawa Girls and Mrs. Mwango, and I told her I'm pregnant, and we did a dance with her. Yeah, so it was really nice.
Yeah.
Yes. The pregnancy wasn't showing as quickly as I wanted, and I needed
to just look like your other food baby.
Yeah, and those days there was special dresses for pregnancy, and I wanted to wear them, and I kept asking at the hospital. By that time, I'd moved to Nyabondo, and it was a mission station, and there was a hospital. So I would go to my clinics there, and we were now teaching at Nyabondo High School so that we could be together. And I just kept asking, can I mean, I couldn't show the pregnancy. It's not showing, and the nurses are telling me, you'll get bored of the dresses. And I'm like, no, I
wanted to wear them.
I want to wear my maternity dress.
Why did you need permission?
That's so interesting, because you've never been pregnant, so you think you need permission through, and you think that other people know. But now that I look back, those nurses were just little children.
Yeah.
Yes, they were just
like your age.
Even younger.
Really?
Yeah. And they said, no, wait, we'll tell you when. And they did. Yes. No, actually they didn't. I think eventually I just said, this is a joke.
And I'm wearing the dresses.
I'm wearing the dresses. Because it's also how you announce that I'm pregnant. All right. And then I had the baby.
Yeah.
And the baby wasn't thriving.
I was not living my best life.
No, the baby wasn't thriving, and at that stage, I mean, I would look at you and I'd be like, but this baby, she breathes like a bird. I mean, your chest is going in and out, and I couldn't understand it. And we asked the hospital. They said, well, that's how babies breathe. But they kept checking on you and checking on you. And after a while, you're losing weight because they do a graph. And you're not rising in the graph. You were actually losing weight. And the doctor, Caucasian man, he said, I think the breast milk isn't doing this baby good, and we need to put the baby on formula. And I really had wanted to breastfeed only, but I put the baby on formula. But the baby wasn't thriving still.
Was the formula expensive? I hear that formula is really expensive now.
Yes, it is expensive, and it was expensive because we were school teachers in the village, and the salary at that particular time was, I mean, really, it's not some admirable salary. Yeah. So yes, it was expensive, but you buy it nevertheless. And then we decided, okay, this is just not sustainable. So we wrote milk. Tuliandika maziwa. That means what you're missing is that means that there's somebody who has cows in the community, and they sell milk to people, and you create an order so that they bring milk every morning. Yeah.
Wow. So I just drank cow milk straight up.
You just drank cow milk straight out, but there's a story that goes with that actually. The guy who used to bring the milk was called Andericus.
Why?
Because that was his name. It's a Catholic station.
Was it an Italian person?
No, it was a new person.
That sounds.
It was a village man called Andericus. So Andericus would bring the milk every morning. And one day, your uncle Richard was visiting from Kisumu, and he came suddenly, and I didn't have anything much for dinner to serve apart from vegetables, and I thought, oh well, I could just take some lemon, squeeze into the milk that had been brought, and serve the guests. And then tomorrow morning, I will get some more milk for the baby. And so, because you didn't need milk that night. And so I squeezed the milk into, a lemon into the milk, and curded it.
Yeah.
That thing.
Yeah.
I turned it into maziwa mala.
Yeah.
And so we had the milk. Richard, Helen, who lived with us then, and Milka. No, Milka didn't drink it because she doesn't like milk. And she had a baby, Chris. Chris didn't have the milk either. But so just three of us had the milk.
And where was Daddy?
He was on a trip. He was away. And that night, we were so ill, the three of us, so ill that the Catholic father living next door had to come with his car and take us to the hospital. We did not even have the capacity to walk to the hospital, which was within the complex.
Oh my goodness, are you kidding?
I'm not. And I had to, I said, there's no way I'm staying in the hospital because I have a baby at home. So they said, you have to be admitted. This is very bad food poisoning. So I left. I said, no, I can't.
The milk was bad, or you poisoned it with the lemon?
No, you can't hardly poison milk with lemon. And Otieno, Richard, your uncle, he had to be admitted. He was so ill, he had to be admitted. And the Andericus did not show up the next morning and never brought milk to our house again.
Stop!
I'm not joking. And we never had the conversation with him. It was so horrible. The hospital said, bring the milk sample, but we had drunk it all.
Mom,
I know. I could have given. I think he was poisoning my baby.
Why?
I don't know. When I was ready to have you, I lived at that mission hospital, but I I called my mom who lived in Nairobi, and I said, I'm coming to have the baby there. And she said, why? Why don't you just have the baby in the mission hospital? And I said, there's no way I'm going to have this baby in the mission hospital. You have to deliver the baby.
Because she was a midwife.
Because she was a midwife, and she was working at Kenyatta Hospital. I think she was just so tired of delivering babies.
She's like, I have to deliver my relatives too.
So I said, no, you have. And she had delivered the first babies, all the first babies in the family.
Yeah.
Well, apart from one. One was born in Mexico, so she didn't deliver that one. But everybody else she delivered.
And I'm near the top.
And you're near the top. And I thought, no. Hey, those guys, they made a good decision. Those were safe births. So anyway, I came into Nairobi, and she checked me into Kenyatta Hospital, and she is the one who got the baby and showed me, here's your beautiful baby girl, gave me the baby and moved on with her life. She was working the whole time.
This is my granddaughter.
She was working the whole time. She'd come back and check on me, and she had told me, no crying, no drama. You're doing what everybody does. Earth is filled with a population of people who have been born. So don't give me stress. You decided you're coming here to have this baby. Don't
stress me.
Don't stress nobody. Don't stress the nursing team. Don't stress anybody. So I didn't whisper a thing because my mother wasn't a joke. I just, I mean, really, when it was too painful and they asked me anything, I just say, wait. No crying, no drama. Had my baby.
When I had my first baby, my mom was there.
Yes, I was right.
You didn't catch her, but you were there.
No, I didn't. Those are big fat babies. I didn't catch her.
What does that mean? What are you talking about?
She was beautiful, but 4.8 kgs? 4.8 kilograms. That was big.
She was like Summer Brazil.
That was a sumo baby.
4.7, ma'am.
4.7?
4.8.
4.7. That's
even matter.
Sumo baby. Yeah. So anyway, 3 months later, my mom comes for the wedding.
Yeah.
And you're asleep in the bedroom.
Yeah.
And she asks me how the baby is doing, and I said, honey, we called my mom honey.
Yeah.
We called my mom honey.
Yeah.
They call her
Nyanya honey.
Nyanya honey. I said, honey, the baby is not doing well. She's losing weight. And she said, bring her. And I brought you, and she held you and talked with you. And she handed you back to me, and she said, I'd like you to come to Nairobi to have the doctor check on her. So I said, is there something wrong with her? And she said, no.
But she knew. She knew.
She did. And I said, okay. And so because I looked at her, and she looked just relaxed and went on with the wedding.
She was a G.
I know. So I thought, nothing much about it. But a week later, she called me in Nyabondo. And she said, you haven't come to Nairobi yet. And I said, what? With that, I thought, oh, things are not right. I said, honey, I think it's okay with this baby. And she said, no, but you had said you're coming to have the baby checked. And I knew that.
You knew.
Yeah, I knew that I had a problem. So I brought you to Nairobi and took you. When I arrived, she said, we will be seeing a cardiologist. And I said, cardiologist, what's that? And she said, that's a heart doctor. And I said, do we have a heart problem? And she said, that's who we will be seeing.
Stop asking many questions.
Yes. So we saw the cardiologist, and the cardiologist told me, this baby has a big hole in the heart. And my mom told me that she had known the moment she held you she felt the way your heart was beating, and she didn't have to use a stethoscope. She had to use nothing. She just touched you and she knew.
me.
And imagine all those doctors, and there were so many doctors at Nyabondo Hospital, and they used to keep checking on the baby.
Like
and they'd say,
listening to my heart as well.
listening into your heart a lot. And I used to wonder
And
why
they couldn't hear that whoosh.
They were hearing it.
But they didn't know why, what.
They probably knew what, and they're probably thinking, this is a woman in the village. What can we tell her? Maybe that's, oh, sorry. Maybe that's what they were thinking.
Yeah,
I don't know what they were thinking.
We don't want to stress her, and the child will die anyway.
Maybe. And you know, the doctors who are doing this, I remember one Caucasian male and one Caucasian female. Those are the ones I remember who kept checking your heart.
That's unfortunate.
It's sad because they said, give her formula.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
If the problem was my heart, then I don't. Anyway, here I am.
Yeah.
Here I sit saying that's unfortunate.
I know. And then also, in the spirit of being gracious and also forgiving, when you're an adult, you look back and you realize that they also were very young people, and they only knew what they knew.
Yeah, like
And
I mean, you're
sometimes
working in some third world country, in the village of that third world country.
Yes.
What are you going to tell a woman who walks in with a child who has a heart problem? So,
And then
it's just going to diminish their level, like their quality of life, and they might not have any way to rectify that problem.
absolutely. So they're forgiven. They only knew what they knew. Yes. But when the doctor told me that you had a hole in the heart, it shifted my life in very many ways.
Okay.
One, I no longer feared for you, because by that time I had heard about heart surgery. I'd been so afraid that it was something with your lungs, and that
And that's why I was breathing the way I
and
was.
that's why you're breathing the way you were. And for me, I'd never heard of lung surgery, and I had thought my baby is going to die. When they said hole in the heart, I said, now they know what it is. Now they can begin to fix it. And so that's one thing that shifted. The second thing was I really looked up to my sister, Dorothy, my big sister. I looked up to her then.
Yeah.
I continue to look up to her now.
Oh, wow.
Yes, yeah. That has really never shifted, looking up to her. She was this big, clever, knowing person. And when it was announced that I got a baby who has a hole in the heart, and she already had 2 children, and they didn't have a hole in the heart or anything, I was like, what? Finally, I'm important. God, no, really. I mean, I thought, even me, I thought God trusts me and chooses me to carry the baby because Yahweh believes I'm going to be a good mother to this baby.
What?
Really? I was so ecstatic. I thought, but this was supposed to be Dolly's baby.
Well, I mean, I would be sitting there wallowing in self-pity.
No, it just so shifted my self-esteem.
Oh my goodness, amazing.
Moved 20 notches high. So I said, bring it on. I was really ready to look after that baby because I knew I had the capacity. So that must have been the still small voice.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
The voice that tells you, see, you're worthy.
Oh, and I had open heart surgery at Kenyatta Hospital, by the way.
I'll get to that.
Oh.
That's not your story. How would she know? Was she there? She wasn't there. That's my story to tell.
Sorry?
Yeah, okay. So one night in Dala, we had a nest like thing in which you would put you into, because you were so little, and this nest was perfect because it was all puffed up and red inside, blue on the outside, and putting the baby in was just so lovely. The baby would sleep inside this thing, would place you on a surface, and one night we heard you crying, and it was the house was a little mud house, and there were spaces at the top to let in air, but then it would let in all kinds of other things.
Sure.
And we heard the baby crying in the night, and of course there's no electricity. The little lamp, of course, has already gone off. I mean, we'd blown it off. You don't even know where the matches are. No, when the baby is crying, you don't know where the matches are. You're young parents.
You're just panicking.
Panicking. I tried to get to you and hit the wall, and now I couldn't tell where I was because where am I? And your dad jumped up, and he knew where he was. And he knew where the baby was in relation, and he knew where the baby was laid to sleep, but he couldn't find the baby. And I'm like, bring her to me, and he's like, I can't find her.
Okay, first of all,
and the baby is crying. Man, that was one of the more fearful things that ever happened to us. We were terrified. So eventually I think one of us probably found a torch and found the baby on the floor, and the baby just got startled because that thing was really padded. Yeah, the nest was really padded, and
I fell off whatever surface you had.
Yes, yeah, on a chair. I think we used to put 2 chairs and place the baby on that, and so he picked you up, and I said, give her to me, and he said, no, and so then we started a fight. Give her to me, give her to me. It was horrible. Oh, it was horrible. Oh, no, I just said, no, give her to me, give her to me. I just wanted to have that baby. So he was like, no. So he's trying to make the baby stop crying, and then eventually, of course, the baby stops crying, and he gives the baby to me. And then I try to breastfeed the baby, and the baby doesn't want to breastfeed. I think this baby just wants to sleep.
Like, oh my goodness, can you just leave me alone?
Yes, I think the baby probably just wanted to sleep. Yeah, but that was a bad night, and we didn't sleep. We stayed up.
Now it was off.
Yeah, it was done. Yeah, it was like, thank God also, give praise, and then shoo out Satan. And I mean Riswa, because
Africans, my goodness,
were like so satanic. We were just so horrified. And then we also believed
Africans are doing too much.
We also believed that somebody did actually stick a thing up the space up the and shove the baby off.
Why?
Because how did that baby come off the surface onto the floor?
I don't turn.
No, it was a very small baby.
Wow.
Yeah, it was before you were 3 months. So then in the morning, of course, we are so tired and railroaded by this whole experience. Yeah. By the time we get up to Babu's house, he's sitting in the veranda and he says, you guys look horrible.
Yeah. You guys look horrible. Y'all look like hell.
Yeah. What happened? And we said the baby fell. And he said, show me the baby. And we showed him the baby, and he burst out laughing. Yeah. And I thought, what a nasty
man.
Yeah. And then we went over to Mama, and she said, what happened? And we said the baby fell. And she said, bring that baby. She kept turning the baby, touching the baby, and fussing over the baby.
And you're like, you see, this is love. Excuse me, Baba, do you see, this is love. Yeah.
But then she went now the other extreme. Yeah, right, and I got to the place where I thought, where's Baba again?
Okay, where's Baba with the laughing?
Yes, where's Baba with the laughing? Because she really put me into a huge scare. It turned out the baby was just fine.
Yeah, babies are soft.
And yeah, babies are soft. And Baba said, babies fall. Yeah.
I just feel like people have been trying to kill me all my life,
Well, maybe not.
which is
Yeah.
odd.
But you know, I mean, Yahweh comes to give you life and give you life in abundance. But Satan comes to steal, kill, and destroy. So there is people trying to kill you all your life.
Right.
Yeah.
Got that.
You're here because of power. Just before your 3rd birthday,
Yeah.
you came for surgery. But in the in-between time, after the doctor had confirmed that you had a hole in the heart, a cardiologist was assigned to you, Dr. Assessor, and cardiology, pediatric surgeon, cardiopediatric,
Oh, please.
that one. Pediatric.
I have children doctor.
Children surgeon was assigned to you, Dr. Otsula. And so their job was to just walk with you the journey. And they said you'd have surgery at age 3. And every month you came to Nairobi, we were brought to Nairobi. We didn't have a car, so we came by public transport. And
By then Tawi was around though.
no, before I got pregnant really quickly.
Yeah.
And so she was around, living within me. And so I stopped coming, and your father would bring you.
Yeah.
So he would come with you by public transport, and those days there were no diapers, so he would change you in the car, in the
bus.
Wepesi. Wepesi was a shuttle, a small one that would carry, I think, 7 people. And he'd come by that, and he would change you in there. He'd come over and stay with you for a week or so, going with you to the doctor and back. And then take the public transport back to Nyabondo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he had this 8-month-old baby that he would travel with and look after that whole time. He was really good. He was always a powerful man.
Yeah.
Yes, always a powerful man.
Yeah.
In that time, men were just not doing that kind of thing, but he was big and he had a huge presence.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do this.
Yeah. And my dad is, I mean, you say he's big because he's tall. Like,
Yes.
he wasn't that big before. Like, he's always been
Yes.
tall. He's 6'3".
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he towers over
Yes.
everyone. Now imagine a 6'3" guy with a baby
Alone. And intact. He's got the baby bag, and
the
he's
baby,
doing everything.
and we are going.
Feeding the baby, looking after that baby for a week until he comes back home. Yeah. And then eventually it was time for you to have the surgery, and it was just before your 3rd birthday. So they put you into the hospital, and they said you had to be in the hospital, I think, for 2 months before the surgery. And yes, it was for so long. We said, why? And they said, first of all, this is a rare surgery in Kenya. It was one of the first surgeries. I think maybe only a few had been done before that. And yes, yeah. We had thought we could do it in the UK, but we didn't have the money. And the doctors also said that they are losing a lot of Kenyan children who go for surgery abroad because they don't get acclimatized. It just doesn't work for them. They die because they can't afford to be acclimatized. It's too expensive to go and stay
for a long time.
Yes. So they said, we'll do it and we'll do a good job. She will be fine. So the doctors checked you into the hospital, and you were there for like 2 months, just running around and laughing with children in that surgery ward. You know, just laughing with them. It was a hard ward for children. And I had to go to work. Your dad had to go to work. We couldn't be with you the whole time. And so people rotated. Auntie Nelly would be with you in the daytime, then Auntie Tuyo would come to be there in the night, and then somebody else would come. So we just basically rotated. People were there for you the whole time. All right, she's crying. It was my story. You see why I said it was my story?
She's crying.
I'll have my tea. Pineapple dawa while she's crying. Get her tissue.
No.
You're not getting a tissue. You're so mean. You're so nasty.
She always cries.
You always cry. Why are you even here? There's tissue in the corridor.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Isn't it a lovely story?
Yeah.
We had you. And we didn't have a car. So coming from the hospital was very challenging. And because we would be with you until very late in the night. Because you want to be with the baby until you put them to bed.
Yeah.
And then you leave.
Yeah.
And then when they're waking up in the morning, you want to be there.
Yeah.
But especially at night, you want to be there when they're falling asleep. So that's how our friend George Ambayo became our friend. He was just somebody we knew loosely. But then he came over to, because there was a baby who was sick. So he came over to just see the baby and be with us, pray with us. And after that, he was our ride home every night.
Oh, wow.
Yes, he lived in Kawangware, we lived in Kangemi.
Yeah.
Every night, he dropped us home in Kangemi before going home to Kawangware.
Oh, wow.
Every night. And some nights, he took us through his house so that we could have dinner first. And then he would drop us.
Amazing.
Just to cut this story short, you know, later on he had a heart surgery as an adult.
Really?
And he said, Kitt made it, I will make it. Because you made it, George Ambayo went through heart surgery, came out intact. The doctors say his heart is like a child's heart, a teenager's heart. Strong and beautiful. And he said he was in India, and he said, the thing that kept me going, Kitt came out alive. I shall come out alive. Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes. So in the hospital, you'd ride your little tricycle. Yeah, all over the place. And you are at a high speed, and you're this vibrant little thing. Why they kept you in the hospital that long was just so that you could acclimatize. All of you.
Because we'll stay for long after.
No. You stayed for a very short time.
So
after.
why?
Just so that acclimatize to the environment, no shocks.
Okay.
And every time a child was going for surgery in the morning, because they went very early, they would wake up all the children. To watch them going. So then you say bye to the little one going. So this little one.
So it's not a bad thing. It's a normal thing. This is why we're here.
This is why we're here. And every time the child came out and went to ICU, all of you were taken
to go see.
To go and see. And so you saw this one in ICU.
Wow.
All of you.
Do they do that now? In children's hospitals, do they do that? No.
I don't know.
That is amazing. That's so clever.
If it was a policy that was developed by the hospital, maybe they do it. But for me, it just worked perfectly for my baby.
That's so good.
Yes, all of you would go and watch and you would see. And also for the parents, it was just such a relief to watch our children seeing the other child. And then the other child would come back to the ward and they would recover and then they would leave and go home. So then it was your turn. And we came early from home, arrived, and early enough to be with them as they got you from the ward and took you. And we kept talking. But I think I gave you negative energy or energy of sadness. because by the time they were now taking you on the trolley, you'd been happy all along, but now when we got to the place we couldn't go beyond, you started crying and calling for me. Yes, and I said, it's okay, baby, but I was ready to cry too. And they took you away, and your father, he held me, and I said, can I cry? And he said, no, you can't cry. And so I couldn't cry. I wasn't allowed to cry. And even why I asked to cry, traditionally, for Luos, you do not cry if a person is still alive. You call on such bad energy. And you could be killing them. So you never cry over a person who is still alive. Because you're bringing in your negative energy. So that's why I had to ask, may I cry? Because I don't want anybody later on to say, it's you who cried. Yes. So he said, no, so I didn't cry. I sat ngumu. Then my mom came, and she said, I'm going to attend the surgery. She attended part of it. She came out and she said the whole experience was, later on, she said the whole experience was so horrific that she couldn't do it all. Yes, yeah. I think watching surgery is one thing, and when it's your grandchild, it's another.
Quite another.
So she came out.
The way they described open heart surgery was they remove your heart from
your
body.
Yes, they did.
And they work on your heart and then they put it back.
Yes, that's what they did. Yeah, and they clamped your chest open. And
that's why
people
ask me about this scar all the time.
Yes, that's why you have that scar.
Yeah.
And they said because you're a girl, they make it turn like this. For boys, they just make it go straight. But for you, they turned it like this.
So you can wear like V-necks or whatever.
Yeah, without showing it. But you've never cared.
I have never cared.
Yeah.
When people ask me about the scar, that's when I remember that I have it.
Yes.
So I've never cared. It's never been as from a place of insecurity or it's ugly.
No, I'm really glad.
And I have holes here where they put the feeding tubes.
Yes.
As well. I wear crop
and
tops.
Also draining.
Yeah, draining. I wear crop tops. I remember only when somebody asks me about it.
Yes.
Yeah. But I'm always like, oh yeah, I was born with a hole in my heart and I had open heart surgery.
Yes.
Yeah. Of course I was not there, so I don't remember.
No, only I remember. Only I remember.
That is mommy's story.
Yes.
Yeah, and daddy's story.
Yeah. So they got you out and put you into ICU, and the children came to see you. You had tubes in your nose, tubes from your mouth, tubes that came from your chest, and all those were to drain. You had monitors on your head, monitors everywhere. You even had a tube in your head, and you're just lying there. And when we came in, you looked at us, we could see you recognized us, we started talking with you, and I asked the doctor, why isn't she pulling the tubes out? And he said, she's been seeing all the children with the tubes, so she knows that the tubes are part of this process. So you did not pull out the tubes once. You're just lying
guys
there.
Are doing the Lord's work.
Yes. No, wow, so many tubes.
That's part of why.
Yes.
They show the children. It's part of the process.
It's part of the process.
Just lie there.
Just lie there. And you're just lying there. Not once did you pull any of the tubes. When they got them out, they got them out. They started getting them out one by one.
Yeah.
And then there's a guy who used to come in, a young man, who would come in with a toy that you had to blow into and cough into to strengthen your chest and your lungs. And he would say, kohoa. And it was painful. You didn't want to do it. But you'd kohoa, and the thing had a ball that had a target. So when you cohard big, it hit. And so it's a game. So you're watching it and just cohoring, blowing it into it and coughing into it. But you just kept going. And
I've been a fighter from the beginning. Mitch, why are you here? Why are you here, Mitch? We can hear you growling.
They operate on a stone heart. Cement.
yeah.
Mommy, why is Mitch here?
Because she's my baby. In 1 week, you are on your bicycle.
Lord.
On the tricycle. I told the doctor, wow, this baby shouldn't be on the tricycle. He said, let that baby do whatever that baby wants to do. And then you had your birthday in the hospital. So within about 8 or so days, you had already had the surgery, were riding your bicycle around the hospital on the lift and tricycle.
Who was pressing for me the lift? Anybody who was in there?
Anybody who pressed the lift, this little one would ride in at a high speed. And I don't know why adults would allow you to just go from floor to floor. And those days it was so much safer because we'd run around looking for you. And
what floor is she on now?
Where is she? Yeah.
On the tricycle.
Yeah, but sometimes we are the ones who are taking you. So you'd go on the ride, we go down, and then you ride the corridors. Yes. And then we did your birthday party, and all the children in your ward and the nurses came and had the party with you. And you used to want to, if we were not there, you would ask the nurse to help you to get onto your bed because it's high. And you'd say, either me, either me. Sister, either me. So Auntie Dolly ran home on the day of the birthday because we didn't have time to have the birthday and still be able to go home because we were operating public transport, be able to go home and bring Tawi for the birthday party. And she said, where's Tawi? And we said, we couldn't get her to come for the birthday party. And she disappeared. And after a short while, she was back with Tawi. Yes. We had bought her a little dress for the birthday party, but we just were not able to go home and have her arrive for the birthday party. You came home, you were just fine. You went to school, you went to Kianda, and one day when you were in Kianda, you came home and said, Mom, imagine another child hit my chest and I have this bad chest. That is when bad chest. Who has a bad chest? I told you don't even start. I told you have a perfect chest. So put your chest out there and do whatever everybody needs to do.
Go with your chest.
Go with your chest. Bad chest. After that, you never brought any stories about any bad chest. And I told you never ever allow anybody to tell you anything about a chest. After that, your chest has been perfect. You became sports captain in school. And the rest is history.
Absolutely.
Yes, I have one more story. I think you were maybe age 2.5 before the heart surgery.
Lord.
Hard work. But hard work for me. Not that the child was hard work.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. No, children are just children.
Yeah.
But they at that time we lived in a little house. 2 rooms. Sitting room, bedroom. But in this house there were enough adults living with us. Yes. And you took off your trousers for whatever reason. Maybe you had been going to the potty. and your trousers were halfway down your legs.
Yeah.
And I saw it. I saw that your trousers were halfway down your legs. And I'm thinking, why am I the only one who needs to pull up this child's trousers? And there are so many people around here. I'm busy doing something else. Other people are just watching this baby walking around with her trousers halfway. Well, you went to step off the step of the house, front door, and you fell, hit your teeth on a step, and all your front teeth disappeared. Woo! Into the gums. Gone. So of course the screaming is what gets me from what I'm doing. In this little space, I jump up, run to look at the child, and this child has really hurt her face. Your dad said, no, it's so late in the night. You know, I mean, at this time, what are we going to do about this? And I think he just thought, this is so bad. And so we didn't get Uncle Ken. And I did not run to go. And I did not know what to do with this scenario. Your dad, I don't think any of us knew what to do with this scenario. So you just slept, barely slept. I could hear you the whole night being tortured. And in the morning when I woke up, your face was swollen like this. Your eyes were like sunk in. This whole bit was yeah, I know.
Funny.
No, it's not funny because it's my horror. For you, it's just not horrific.
I mean, I wasn't there.
No, you weren't there. It's my story. And Tawi, who was 1 year old then, woke up, looked at you, and went. And I looked at her. She's also a baby. I don't know what to think because she's laughing. She's looking at you. I think she's thinking,
are you a
you're
cartoon?
entertaining her.
Are you a chipmunk?
Yeah, like what are you doing? Why are you doing this?
Why are you doing
this? For my entertainment, yeah. Tommy laughed, the baby laughed. Like one baby laughing at the other, you know. She went,
Oh, Lord.
and laughed. So I just looked at her. Anyway, by that time we had already been able to get Auntie Dolly, who came very early in the morning. And we said, what are we going to do about this? And she looked, she said, there's a clinic in Pangani, and it's run by Crescent Medical Aid, and they do a very good job. It's a dental clinic. I'd never heard about it till then. So she said, I'll take you there, right? So she used to be our taxi. So I'm sitting with you in the back, and you called her and said, Auntie Dolly, I'm on your go dog.
Didn't even know who it was.
So we didn't laugh. We didn't laugh. We didn't know what. I thought, hey, she hit her mouth so
hard. She's gone mad.
She's lost it. She's lost it. I couldn't see any of your teeth. There was just gum, and it was all jagged and bleeding. Dolly said yes.
Amundi is her child.
Yeah. So I asked her, why would she say that? And she said, oh, she's projecting it onto somebody else.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
It's too horrible.
Yeah, it's horrible. It has to be somebody else.
Literally not me.
Somebody went through this bad thing. So we I
mean, I do that even today. I'll just be like, not my problem.
It's yours. Somebody else's.
Somebody else's problem.
Yeah, I guess it's a survival technique. Anyway, we went to the hospital. A really pleasant doctor. And we were the first people in. He took one look at your mouth, and he said, I said, is it really bad? And he said, you know, I see this all the time. I was shocked. I said, really?
Oh, how? Children walk around.
He said, here? Children fall and the teeth go in. And
pushed in.
are pushed in. I said, why? And he said, it's actually a way of hiding them and preserving them. And the gums are such that they're able to take it in. And I said, so what will happen? He said, they'll come down slowly. It will take like a year for them to come out. A year and more than a year.
Wow.
But they will all come down slowly.
Yeah.
And it'll be fine. One day she'll start losing her teeth and the new ones will grow.
Yeah.
And I said, what's the worst that could happen? He said, well, the worst that could happen is that she has hurt her gums so badly that she will never have teeth. Once the milk teeth go, they'll never grow again. That's it.
Yeah.
But he said, in all his medical practice, nobody has seen anything like that. It's only in the medical books. And all he gave us was painkillers, and that was that.
Yeah.
We came away from there with the knowledge that you are going to be fine, and you are fine. And once your teeth started falling off, they started growing. And they were just fine. I really looked forward to having your teeth coming, and I kept watching, and they came, and there you are.
And there you are.
Yeah, you have a perfect set of teeth. Yes.
Yeah.
Sigodo.
Sigodo.
Yeah. So the story was written in Parents Magazine. Your story of the heart surgery.
Yeah.
I think we had it in True Love. Yes. Reader's Digest. Yes. Yeah. And a lot of my friends all over the world were praying for you, and they were worried. So there are very many of my friends who still don't know what happened to that baby. Every once in a while I bump into them and they're like, oh Pondi, I've been thinking about you and your baby, whatever did happen. And I'm like, wow, she's a fully grown up woman and she's a mother. Yes.
Amazing.
Amazing.
No, I know. I hope you guys enjoyed this journey with us. I sure did. I really enjoyed it, and we shall have mommy back again, of course. For sure. Bye.